Hi Cancer, welcome to your mid-August 2018 tarot update. It's Rena here. I'm using the Wild Unknown Tarot deck and I did pick the cards already. I just started over again. I was kind of like talking in circles, and I think part of it is because I went swimming last weekend and my ears are all stopped up and I feel like, I'm out of it. So I'm just trying to keep it together while I'm doing these readings. And I'm going to just try to, be very on point here. So the heart of the matter is the Six of Cups. This is a card that actually connects with you. It connects with children, the past, and soulmates. So as we go into the end of August, we're talking about two personal planets that are still retrograding. Mercury until the 19th and Mars until the 26th. Now Mars is actually now in your opposite sign, in the sign of Capricorn, which is your 7th house. And that can indicate something going on here, because I want to talk about this past position. The Judgment card can be that you have gotten some kind of a legal judgment. It can be either a marriage dissolving, so you're declared officially divorced, or maybe this is connected to it, some kind of a situation with child custody. And that Six of Cups is kind of where your concern is. Now, Cancer is a sign of the mother, so whether you are a male or a female, that nurturing quality is still present within you. Even Cancer males will still exhibit the same kind of overprotective tendencies towards their offspring that you would expect in the Cancer mother. And this situation, depending on how, if your ex has been respectful of you, or if you're dealing with a very unpleasant situation, this can indicate how any kind of child custody matters are panning out, whether you're feeling good about it. But we have here at the present time, we have here the Ten of Wands. So this can be, it's such an it is such an ominous depiction of the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is simply a card of having to worry about perhaps working too hard. But in the context of these first two cards, to me the Ten of Wands indicates that if you're dealing with any kind of child custody situation, that you do not take the brunt of the responsibility, but you demand that the other party, that your ex, is taking their share of responsibility in raising the child. I think sometimes Cancer is a sign that, because you're a cardinal sign, that you're kind of like a micromanager, where you like that control. And so you may volunteer to be the primary caretaker, but you're not aware of how much that's going to drain from you. Because there could be a situation where if you have an outside job where it's just too much, and it could put some kind of stress on that aspect of life. Now, the other scenario that I was talking about was the soulmate energy, and I want to call attention to this card, because sometimes with this particular deck, I scratch my head with some of the associations, even though I love the pen and ink drawings. And in this particular case, you notice the contrast between the tree being black and white, as well as those lines in the cups, and then the colorful roots. And to me, this is an absolutely brilliant depiction of the Six of Cups, because it's a card of the past. And so we think of the roots of, you know, how we were raised and that environment, just our childhoods and the connections that we made and the memories that we have due to those connections. And so you may be revisiting this for some reason, Cancer. You had a solar eclipse in your sign back in July, and that may have opened new doors, but it also may have meant that something closed. I mean, even in late June, you had a full moon in your marriage house. So that could all be connected in some way. And the other thing, too, that I feel compelled to mention is that there is... Cancer is dealing with the opposition from Pluto and Saturn, both in Capricorn at the moment. And so that has to have some kind of impact as well, especially with partnerships, like marriage partnerships, and that may have taken its toll, and hence the Judgment card. And for some of you, it may have been very difficult because it broke up a family and that was the last thing you wanted. But if there's somebody from your past, for instance, maybe it's a high school sweetheart, college sweetheart, or even somebody before, you know, elementary school even, or a friend of a friend, and you meet up with them, maybe you talk to them online, or you see them when you visit your home, your hometown, or what have you, and you really feel like this is the person for you, and maybe it's even the reason for your divorce. You were holding out hopes for this person. It's important to note whether or not that person is going to really respond, or if in fact it was a more attractive scenario before you were available. So you have to like kind of separate the nostalgia from the reality. And that can be kind of hard for a sign like Cancer, because you are very nostalgic, you're very tied to the past. And I think sometimes Cancers would prefer to live in the past if they could. You know, unlike an Aries person who's always looking for the latest, greatest, you oftentimes will think that the past is where it's all at. I'm kind of like that too sometimes, and I have no plants in Cancer. I'm like, where do I get all this, like, you know, sentimentality, corniness? I don't. But yeah, so something along these lines may be playing out for you. And what the Ten of Wands is all about is making sure that you're not doing all the heavy lifting, that it's mutual. Because you don't want to force anything. And this is what I was saying about, you know, like Cancers, they can be very forceful when they want to be, especially when it comes to emotional issues. And if you have to force yourself on someone, it's not, I'm talking about emotionally, obviously, it's not worth it. You want somebody who is just eager to be in a relationship with you. Not that you have to manipulate, coerce, what have you. What's coming in is represented by the Nine of Pentacles, and this is a card of financial independence. So again, I seem like I draw this type of card when I feel like I'm describing the aftermath of a divorce, and especially when I'm speaking to women And I think it's because, and the reason I say speaking to women, because most of the viewers to this will be women. And I think that this is because even in 2018, you know, a woman may feel that sense of like apprehension if she gets divorced about whether or not she'll be able to support herself. Well, Cancer women, you know, just multiply that by 10 because that's just very important to a Cancer person is financial security. And so this suggests that you will have that ability to take care of yourself. Again, this could be in relationship to a child where you feel that you want to make sure that your child has the best of everything and isn't going to be deprived, and you may even fear that your ex is deliberately going to drag their feet about it because they don't want you to get the satisfaction, so they're punishing their child in the process. And the outcome is the Page of Wands. I think that this is kind of like, to me, the first thing that I think about is a turning point at the time of Mercury going direct. Pages can be messages, but I think of, you know, Mercury as the messenger. And Wands is fire. So we have the Mercury retrograde was in a fire sign in Leo, and it goes direct on the 19th. I'm recording this on the 16th, so it's several days away. You may be listening after the fact. But I feel like for any kind of financial issues, because Leo is your second house, which is your house of earned income. So if you felt like in the last month or so, maybe even a little bit longer during the shadow period, that your finances were funky, Cancer, you may get a sense of momentum now after the 19th, and especially in September when things really start to go forward, because you still have Mars opposing your Sun. And that could even affect, if you have clients and stuff like that, that could definitely affect your ability to get new clients. And just, you know, a personal planet retrograding, it's always kind of nice to see it go direct. And also you may get a message of good news that comes your way. And this can, again, relate to a child. Pages can relate to children. So it's possible that if this is like the Six of Cups, if you have a child that you're concerned about, or your children, that they will be happier now that you are divorced. They may feel like they can breathe easier again. Maybe it was taking its toll on them and you didn't even realize how much. So anyway, Cancer, that's what I have for you. So if you'd like a personal reading, my website is rainandmoonastrology.com. The link is below for that. Have a blessed rest of August. Take care. Bye.